Well, hello, this is John Yates, and I chair the technology group at the law firm Morris, Manning & Martin in Atlanta. And I'm here today with AJ Richichi, who is the head of a very interesting company, SENTIO. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Zach Crow, who is in our corporate tech practice, who works with AJ, to ask a few questions about AJ and SENTIO. So, Zach, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, John. And thanks for joining us, AJ. Happy to have you on and hear more about the company and let people know what you guys are doing over at SENTIO. To start with, can you kind of describe the elevator pitch of the company and what you're doing and what your mission is and how it differentiates you from other companies?
Yeah, so here at SENTIO, we're a Charleston-based SaaS business. We help companies reliant on the hourly workforce reduce turnover and hire great people. So a lot of people don't know this, but picking people out, particularly on the front lines, is a very challenging thing to do. And oftentimes the people who are doing it aren't SHRM certified, they're not trained in HR. And so SENTIO provides an unprecedented amount of information to help those people make sound and non-discriminatory hires, which is so important in today's world.
And are there any specific industries where you're focusing on hiring these kind of people and helping out with?
Yeah, right now, due to COVID, we've been in two industries primarily. First is in quick service restaurants. So we have clients in brands like Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, McDonald's, but also in home healthcare, where we help franchisees in brands like Visiting Angels, Right at Home, and Comfort Keepers. So as we grow, I think we'll get into different verticals within the franchise space. But for the time being, we really like the structure of franchising. We feel like we can grow really quickly through these different brands. And thus far, we've been able to have great momentum and grow very quickly, which allows us to work with great people like MMM and raise rounds and grow the business here in the Southeast.
Well, we certainly appreciate that, and we're proud to be working with you. Given that it's 2020, we have to ask, how has COVID impacted the business and those markets that you're targeting?
Yeah, I think there's been profound change in just about every industry, as you know. In quick service restaurants, we've seen a transition from in-restaurant eating to more drive-through, but not necessarily a change in the number of people that work at each location. But the challenging thing is it's really hard to interview candidates right now, because beforehand people might come in for an interview. You can sit face to face with somebody and ask them a few questions about their work history. But now you have to rely on job boards, screening tools, and onboarding modules to really help get to know somebody, which is a really challenging thing. And that's where we step in at SENTIO, is being able to help you understand a candidate before you screen them, before you hire them, and before they start working and representing your business.
Great, very helpful. And given that we're so close to the end of the year, what would you say are your main goals for 2021 as you continue to grow the company and how you see that going?
Yeah, so we just raised a round, which we're really excited about. We oversubscribed from funds in the Southeast, West Coast, and in New York, which is an amazing opportunity and one that we're extremely grateful for given the condition in the world right now. We know we have a product that works. We know we have strong product market fit within the franchise space, primarily in QSRs. And now it's just about scale. How can we get more developers on to build a better product? How do we get more SDRs and salespeople to ship the product out to more customer sets? And overall, just growing and scaling the business every way we can to reach critical mass and really make an impact in the world.
That's great.
So, AJ, let me ask maybe a final question here. And that is, you mentioned Charleston, which is where you're located. Great city. We hear more and more about tech companies growing there, and we're fortunate to have a number of tech clients in the Charleston area. Tell us just briefly about Charleston, why it's a great place to have a company, and also how you're dealing with the remote working arrangement. If you see into 2021 that there's going to be a lot more remote working within SENTIO.
Yeah, so I moved to Charleston from New York about 3 years ago and haven't looked back yet. It's a beautiful city, a lot of history, beaches, things along those lines, but also great tech infrastructure. We have the Charleston Tech Center, we have the Harbor Entrepreneur Center, and we also have big companies that anchor us like Blackbaud, Benefit Focus, now Boomtown, and Fish Labs. They're doing an amazing job of bringing tech talent in here, training people that eventually want to join a startup like SENTIO. And I think it's our job and our responsibility to pay that forward by becoming a great company based in Charleston, South Carolina, training people for the next wave of startups. So really blessed to be here. And from your remote question is we are going to be 100% remote in 2021. We actually just decided as a board, which is a big decision. But, for us, we tend to operate really well within our own home offices. We didn't really see a need to have big office space or to kind of get the big boardroom. And we want to put our investors' money to use. And we feel like that's best used in people, not in places for 2021.
So AJ, we appreciate your time. Congratulations to SENTIO, what you're building. For those people that are listening, I hope you have an opportunity to get to know AJ Richichi and what he's doing with respect to SENTIO. We wish you great success during 2021 and a happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.